What's up, guys? Big Al's Bike and Auto coming at you. We're making moves today. I'm sorry there's been no content. Very good explanation for that. See those clouds? We have had non-stop downpouring here for 2 weeks. It's typical this time of year in Miami. It's like the rainy month. So it's been very hard for me to do anything car related. Haven't done anything with the Civic yet. I've just been dailying it when the weather's cool enough. Still waiting on my buddy to get that fucking title in from Arkansas. They couldn't find it. Go figure. I'm getting kind of impatient with that because I want to do something with it. At least make it street legal. Anyway, so today I've been kind of feeding for another SUV. I've got everything else. Rear-wheel drive pickup, front-wheel drive Element, all the other toys. But all my buddies down here have got little teeny beater SUVs. They take out the trails and have a blast with them. And I had a ton of Explorers last year that I flipped, at least 8. I did videos on some of them, and other ones I took down because I thought I don't know, I just thought the videos sucked. I'm very critical of my own videos, and I still think most of them suck, but for some reason I've got 967 subscribers or something like that. Let's get that to 1,000, that'd be cool. Anyway, I've been kind of feeling, I want another Explorer. So I went looking today on Craigslist, and I found this one we're going to look at right now. It's a 96. Appears to be like a one-owner situation. I talked to the woman on the phone. She said her husband passed away, which is very sad, and the car's been sitting for 2 years. It was his. So I don't like the fact that it's been sitting, but I like the price. She's asking $500. When I call her, she's like, oh, I meant to put it up for $700. I'm like, listen, I hate to break it to you, but I go, well, this was back in, God, this was a while ago. Almost a year ago, I had a 2000 Explorer that did have 200,000 miles on it, but it had a perfect body. The AC kind of worked. It needed a new clutch. But anyway, it was a very good truck. I dailied it for a while because I bought it for, ooh, that sucks. I know what you're all thinking about her. That 2000, I bought that for 150 bucks, running, driving, 4 good tires, needed nothing. I did nothing to it. I drove it for like 6 months and I sold it for $750. It took me a while to sell it for $750. And that was a ready-to-go Explorer. This one, the battery's stone cold dead. It's been sitting for 2 years. I'm sure it's got bad gas, bad plugs, you name it. So I said to her, listen, 700's a huge stretch. 500's a stretch. I'm like, are you negotiable? I'll come down and look at it, but I'm guessing it's gonna need a fair bit of work from sitting for so long. She goes, well, yeah, come down and take a look at it. We'll see what we can do. So she's real close to my house, so it doesn't hurt to go check it out, although I think I'm gonna get fucked here and it's gonna rain. However, she said it's in a carport, so that will be good. We're going to take a look at it, and I'm in my truck here, which, by the way, the other day hit 313,000 miles. It's still killing it. So I'm gonna go look at this thing and see what I can do on it. This is where it is because she told me there was an AT&T truck, and the Explorer must be, I don't know where, back here. Tell it's been sitting. A lot of cobwebs. So I guess she had somebody here who looked at it and they took off the little intake, the tube that runs into the intake, and they said it needs something replaced around there. I don't know if they were BSing or what, but I'll look into that further. I can't imagine what the hell it would be. She couldn't remember what it was. Inside's in nice shape. This is pretty typical for that to, these buttons to crumble apart. She says the odometer might not work. Even still, you can tell it's probably around that mileage. It's cosmetically. These seats don't hold up. Usually up to 200K, the leather crumbles. Alright, I'm pulling back in her, Jesus, am I gonna fit in her driveway here to try to jump start the Explorer. Alright, I've got I don't have anything to tighten up these terminals, that's the problem, but I'll give this a whirl. just gave me the key. What the hell do I do with it? This is it right here. Let's see how this baby does. Hopefully I got some lights, but it might not be tight enough to start. Yeah, I didn't think so. All right, let me see if I can find something to tighten those up. All right, let's give another go here. It's been a minute. Man, is this thing dead? I don't know. I might have to put another battery in. I let the battery charge up for a minute, but underneath looks decent. I see new sway bar links. All the boots and bushings look good. So I'm assuming it's probably gonna need shocks, but oh yeah, definitely. The boot's totally missing off. Maybe not. No. I don't know, maybe the shock's just seized. Alright, try number 3. I got some pliers from the lady. It was very nice of her and tightened up the terminals there. So hopefully, if this doesn't work, I'm going to pull the battery out of my truck. But, ooh, we're much closer. Let's give it a minute here. I've got my battery in. Now it should start, unless there's something else wrong. Like no fuel. Woo! Fucking fired right up. Ooh. Check engine. Let's try that again. A little bit of gas. Smells like a car that's been sitting for a while. Interesting. It sounds like it's got no fuel. Smell that gas is very bad. Very, very bad gas. Try one more time. Doesn't seem to help. It seems to... Alright. There's two things that could be, and I'm sure you guys already know what, that could be causing this Explorer not to start. The first thing I think could be either the fuel pump is bad, but we saw it start right up, and it ran for a second and then it shut off. So that's usually not a fuel pump thing. Usually you wouldn't have the truck starting at all. So I think it's got no gas in it at all. And what is in there, the little drips in the tank, is probably bad. So I think it's got bad gas, and I'm pretty damn curious. Even if I don't buy this truck, I'm bored, I got nothing else to do, and I want to see it run. And if it doesn't run, I know I'm not going to buy it. This lady's very sweet. She's a little old elderly lady, and you know, I don't mind going out and spending the 10 bucks on gas, pouring it in and see if we can get this thing to run, even if I don't buy it, because at least it'll help her out and she'll know if it needs a fuel pump. And now I know what those guys, whoever came and looked at it before, were saying, but they could be wrong. She said they didn't bring any gas or anything with them. All I did was take off the little intake, spray in some starter fluid, and then it kept shutting off. But again, if there's no fuel in the tank, well, no shit, it's gonna keep shutting off. So I'm going home now to get my gas can and some starter fluid. I'm gonna bring some 93 fuel. Put some, if I do put gas in there, I want it to be high octane, so it'll be, you know, at least kind of clean. And if I think I even have some injector / fuel additive, which I still have some left, so I'll bring that too, dump it all in at once, and see if we can get this thing running and staying running. And then if it does, we know that there's a pretty good chance it does need the fuel pump. And if it does not, we know that it does need one. I know it's not a fuse, which the Explorers have a lot of issues with the fuel pump relay, but this thing wouldn't even be turning on at all. and it's trying to. So I think it's, again, you can just smell the tank. It stinks like fuel vapor and like old to no gas. So I'm already almost home. I'm gonna grab my gas can and shoot back over there and hope for the best. All right, I'm adding gas. I've got 5 gallons of 93. I'm gonna add some fuel treatment, and I brought some starting fluid in case it is the fuel pump, but I'm hoping it's not, and I don't think it is based on how it fired up before, but we'll see. All right, I'm kind of nervous. I've got the battery hooked up. I put like 3 gallons in. If it's running and running well, I'll put some more in, but in the fuel treatment, but for now I wanted to just put enough. So I'm hoping, I was kind of thinking about it, maybe it started the first time just because there was still some starting fluid in from the last guy. I hope that's not the case. We're about to find out. Well, I will say that gas gauge tells me there probably wasn't any gas in it. I'm not giving up yet. Maybe I need to put in, maybe it is a fuse. You can tell it wants to. Let's maybe try some starting fluid. I might switch the relays around too quick. Well, I hate to say it, but maybe it is the fuel pump. Put some starting fluid here. Forget, do you shake this shit? No. Let's see what happens there. I don't know why I didn't listen. The smart thing I would have done is if I, oh shit, what I do with the key? Is if I frickin' listen to hear the fuel pump kicking on. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Alright, let's see. Seems like a fuel pump to me. Damn it. Alright, so no luck with the Explorer, definitely the fuel pump, and to make matters worse, right about as I was going to tell the woman that the fuel pump was bad and make her an offer or hear her price, this guy she's got working on her house shows up, and of course he's Mr. Top. I respect him, you know, he's just trying to protect this woman and make sure she gets a fair offer, but I mean, my offer was very fair. I offered $150 for it, which is basically a little over scrap. I mean, it needs a fuel pump. And you can see how it's tucked back there. It's tucked behind a metal pole, so there's no getting that out easy. It was like right over here on the side of the street, easy to pick up with a wrecker. I would have came up on my offer a bit more, like maybe $50 or $75, but the fact that it's back there, right off the bat, I've got to pay somebody to come over just to help me push it out to at least right here where a wrecker could back up, because it's South Florida and no one's really your friend here. Everybody wants something out of everything. What I've done, I guess, is push it a little bit myself and hooked up a chain to this thing, but just a lot of fucking work for a car I probably wouldn't even make any money on, you know? Would it be cool to hang on to it as a toy? Yeah, sure it would, but anyway, $150 was taking into consideration all the bullshit I'd have to go through just to get it out of here. And I gotta get it home, drop the tank. I wouldn't pay a shop to do the fuel pump because that's gonna be like $500 at least. I hear people pay $700 sometimes. I mean, they're obviously getting ripped off, but for Explorer fuel pump job, because they'll put in like the high-end pump. I'd put in one of the cheaper pumps and drop the tank at home. Take a couple hours, but again, I could do all that and then imagine if the transmission had a problem. So that $150 was like a play it safe offer. I don't need that car by any means. I can find another one overnight. I did admire that it was I believe a one owner. I mean, it's got the classic 20-year-old AAA sticker on it and the Virgin Mary little thing over the visor that every old person has, and really the interior was spectacular. Exterior, there was some minor surface rust happening on the roof from it sitting, but the body didn't have a dent on it, no faded paint. It's underneath that carport. But it's gonna need brakes, it's gonna need tires. Those will probably have flat spots. They're all pretty low on air. So $150 I thought was a very fair offer, and I think she was like thinking about it, but this guy overhears me and comes storming over. He's like, no, $150 not fair, not good offer. And I'm like, dude, I go, I'm ready to whip out my phone, show him a picture. I'm like, I bought a 2000 Explorer in comparable shape, running and driving with new brakes. I drove it home and I paid $150 for that. I'm like, that's a very fair offer. The junkyard would give $400. I'm like, they would absolutely not. And I go, besides, you really want to junk her deceased husband's car? I didn't say that, but I was thinking that in my mind. So it is what it is. I'm not upset. I don't really care that I spent a few hours this afternoon over there because I had fun and she was a sweetheart. And at least now she knows it's definitely the fuel pump. Yeah, you know, it's some decent content for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, we'll see what happens. She wrote down my number, and she's like, well, and even the contractor, or whatever the fuck he was, agreed that if she can't sell it soon, then the offer is okay. But, so it is what it is. Maybe it'll be a vehicle of mine in the future, but in the meantime, I'm going to keep looking, because I have bought a ton of, it's like, it's, you know, some vehicles like the Element, it's a once in a lifetime. I bought it really cheap, and I'd probably not be able to go buy their 06 Element that cheap again, which you remember I paid $2,200 for it. But Explorers, I buy cheap all the fucking time. I'd say the average I pay for an Explorer running and driving is like $400. So this one was not running, not driving, needs brakes, tires, battery, fuel pump. $150 was like, I didn't even want to make the offer of $150, but I knew that anything less than that wasn't even going to be considered. So it is what it is. Again, it's I'm not upset about it. Thank God it was so close to home. It's not like I drove up to Broward County or something like that, but you know, I did throw like $15 of gas in the thing. I'm an idiot, because I should know better than to, I don't think I'm by no means a true mechanic, but I know more than enough, and I don't know how I didn't think to listen to hear the fuel pump kick in when I had the battery in it the first time. I could have saved myself all the trouble of going out and buying gas, but whatever. I mean, I don't know, it is what it is. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for the next one.
You are